So, has anybody ever been to a party where somebody raised money? Has anyone ever been to a party where somebody was running for political office and they sat around somebody's living room talking about what they were going to do if they were elected and then asking for money?
I remember the first one when I was 16.
Well, you know, the people who invented this model are people who running for political office. And a lot of money for elections gets raised in people's living rooms. And so I think those of us on the nonprofit side are borrowing and adapting and stealing from that model. So I've got a lot of materials. I'm going to talk you through a PowerPoint. I've got some questions for you to answer. As Juan suggested, this is not me talking straight through. I need you to help me. All right, so all this stuff you've got in the handouts. It's helpful for you to have this to sort of talk you through. This is actually an invitation that a friend gave to me. Fairly slick, but quite nice. And it gives you some sense of what we're doing here. So, what this is an event that is relatively small. This is not a gala. This is not 250 people in a ballroom. House party is 10 or 15 or 20 or maybe 50 people if you have big enough space. You know, when I say house, we're in the city. We could be doing this in an apartment or a condo. The word house is not necessarily about a house. But I think the private home piece is important. I have done these in bars. I have done these in restaurants. I have done these in country clubs. It feels different when it's in somebody's house. And we'll talk about why that is. And you certainly can do an event like I'm describing this evening in a neutral space, like a community room. But it just feels different when it's about somebody's home. This is a 2-hour event, stem to stern. And typically it breaks out like this. There's 30 or 40 minutes of eating and drinking and hanging out. There's usually some sort of presentation, which we'll talk about in more detail. The best parties have an ask at them, though this may be optional, and we'll come back to that. And then there's maybe 20 or 30 minutes more of eating and drinking and hanging out before it's over. And this implies that you can really do this sort of any day of the week or any time of the day. You can do this after work, sort of like this event tonight, where you start at 5:30 or 6, you go till 8. You could do it as a sit-down dinner. You could do it as a Sunday brunch. You could do it as a Saturday afternoon barbecue. There's all sorts of options